morning, gentlemen of the grey, and thank you, Mr. Swanepoel, for that rather succinct oversight of my 30+ years since leaving school. So I'd like to thank the school and the foundation for this opportunity, because it's not often that one gets the chance to shape the minds of the leaders of the future. And although 10 minutes is probably not enough, I hope today to at least inspire you to consider a career in the built environment. You will have noted that from my lived experiences that I have not trodden the path that maybe I thought I would have when I left school. It's in fact a different path to what I wanted to be. Initially was an architect. But what I have found is that because of passions in areas, I have migrated myself towards those areas that I found uplifting and that I could then use to, in instance, improve the world around me. We live in unprecedented times, especially in considering the built environment we have inherited. We are grappling with how to house and service the needs of a rapidly urbanizing population, which is close to nearly 8 billion people. Whilst at the same time, productivity in our industry has been declining since the Second World War. And so we find ourselves at a crossroads in terms of the fact that we have a challenge to deliver all of this infrastructure, these buildings, at a time when we see a workforce that is declining in age and we have challenges in terms of performance. The ongoing global pandemic threw in another curveball as it led to questions around the quality of our internal environments, whilst at the same time climate change, your generation's greatest challenge, is slowly leading many to ask whether our built environment is fit for purpose. It is notable that all the news channels in Europe last week were talking about how people couldn't live in the buildings that they had constructed over millennia. So increasingly, the idea of too warm a building because temperatures are increasing, or where there's no water coming out of the taps because the infrastructure services can no longer deliver because the population has exceeded the tolerance of the system. So this scenario then forces us to find alternative solutions, challenging the way we have done things over hundreds, if not thousands of years. There's concrete, which is a huge problem from a CO2 emissions perspective, is a legacy of the Romans. This requires leaders not scared to challenge the accepted standard. It also requires we find individuals with a mindset to be the best they can be. And this is an area I believe this institution provides you with much experience and a head start in life. I've experienced this not only in my professional career with other real old grays that I've worked with, including the likes of Brian Bruce, who was head of Murray & Roberts Construction, and Professor John Smallwood, who's the leading professor in the built environment and presents at international conferences. I've worked with, but I've traditionally had as my young men who have been fortunate to have come through the NMU, Nelson Mandela University Construction Management Department, and have now gone on to be leaders themselves in specialist areas that they have focused in on. In the last 10 years, I have had in the region of 25 grey boys who are now out in the industry challenging the status quo and being acknowledged for being the best at what they do, be it in South Africa, the UK, or even New Zealand, where at the present there are 3 young men who are in line for awards at the building conference. There are thus many opportunities for young, bright, creative minds to make a difference, and not just in delivering projects more effectively. The interesting thing in our industry currently is that we are finding individuals coming from a variety of backgrounds. Technology is being used with the likes of drone surveys to check on progress, or analysis of facade maintenance requirements, especially when it's on the 60th floor of a 100-story building. In addition, data analysts are the fastest growing sector of industry professionals as they crunch the numbers on performance in buildings to try and improve those buildings' outputs. Whilst visualization of airflows and energy usage within different building design types or with an alternative envelope system are being used to improve the newest buildings we construct or the upgrading of existing buildings. This means opportunities in many areas not previously associated with the built environment. Increasingly, buildings are being automated, made smart, so that they can adapt to this changing climatic environment for the future. This is resulting in AI-driven management systems, controlling when windows are opened, or increasing the flow rates of mechanical ventilation systems. Material scientists are working hard to bring to market smart eating concrete. And more than a few, and that is more than a few, hope to create a material to be used to print Elon Musk's mansion on Mars. Maybe you'll be one of them. The opportunities have become endless, and it is before we even consider the men and women who will be needed to manage all the changes that are going to have to be brought to bear on our built environment in order for us to achieve the likes of a net zero carbon building environment by 2050. And I might add that 80% of the buildings that exist today will still be around in 2050, and likely this school will still be here too, and will also need to become a net zero building. Building back better may be a hot political slogan post-COVID-19, but it's also become a rallying cry for the built environment to transform itself into an industry of the 21st century and beyond. Allgrades are already making their mark on projects around the globe, and many more, including those who sit before me, have an opportunity to make their mark whilst creating a better built environment. My journey has led me from paper drawing boards to virtual reality headsets, worn in a health and safety environment where falling over the edge of a building on the 20th floor elicits a scream from those wearing the headsets. It is that real. It has also seen me transition from design to management, and all the while challenging the methods employed in order to do more with less, just as we now need to do in order to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and limit the impact to our planet. There are massive opportunities for many of you to similarly have a positive impact and help us to not only reverse many of the challenges we now experience, but maybe even voyage to Mars to oversee the robots printing Elon's mansion. I thank you for this time this morning.